Transitioning from Earth life to Mars life, in terms of the way I do things, has been quite interesting.
Could you loosen that up a little bit? If somebody said to me, we've got a seat waiting for you here and it's going to take you to Mars, however, because of the radiation dosage you're going to die in about 2-3 years, would you do it? I would say hell yeah. What else am I going to do with my life?
Okay.
Going to this Mars Desert Research Station is really a first step for me in my path of hopefully becoming an astronaut one day. And ideally, I would really like to be one of the first people to actually go and colonize Mars in the future.
The Mars Desert Research Station was a facility put together about 15 years ago by a group of individuals, primarily from NASA and the European Space Agency. They run the facility, but scientists and engineers from around the world come here for 2 weeks to conduct relevant research in getting people to Mars.
Here on Earth there are 3 places that are just like Mars. We've got the mountains of Hawaii, we've got the Atacama Desert in South America, and we've got south central Utah, really out in the middle of nowhere. We try to live here like we would on Mars, but when you go to Mars, it's very different. The sunlight level on Mars is about half of what it is on Earth. It's about 1.5 times the distance from the sun. The gravity of Mars is about 1/3 of what we have on Earth, 38% to be exact. Here on Earth, traveling with the transportation rover at top speed would be about half of what I could achieve on Mars.
All these things that we're essentially simulating here are actually very real in terms of what astronauts experience out there. Everything here is limited. We have no space, we have limited water supply, a limited amount of food supply.
It just ends up, no matter how creative you are, it just ends up tasting the same.
You know, we can't get any help. We're completely reliant on ourselves.
Several billion years ago, Mars was an ocean planet. Half of it was covered in water, but now that is frozen into the soil. With the technology that we have today, we could change Mars back into what it was several billion years ago. The obstacle we face right now is that there's no real profit that could be made in going to Mars in the short term. So money is the factor.
My real dream is to one day to go into space and become an astronaut. Hoping to get humans to Mars, if not myself, then others at least. Whether it will happen during my generation, which I really hope it will, or it might happen in the next century or so. Mars is the best candidate planet for humanity to kind of move to, and then maybe one day move even further out into the universe.